Howdy there, guys, and welcome back to Edgar TV, where today we've got a discussion point that actually came from The Sun. They did an article, the top 10 players of all time. Glenn, you was involved in that. You put this tweet out saying how this sort of comes around every so often, and actually you get quite a bit of flack from this. You actually said on that tweet, I know.
Yeah, it was a Sun newspaper. It was around about the time I just won the Premier League, but it seems to come out every November by Edgar. It seems to come out every November just prior to the Ali Pali and the World starting, and it just creates discussion, usually to the detriment of me. And I just want to put it out there. Look, me in the top players ever, absolutely not. And I'm about to prove my theory on the 10 best players ever, and we're quite similar. I mean, I think the top 5 speak for themselves, and then let's have a little discussion, and let's hear from you. I would love to know what your thoughts are. But be nice.
The thing is, with a topic like this, I don't think too many people will agree, because everyone's perspective is different based on your age. If you've been watching darts for 30 years, it might be different to if you watched it for 10.
Yeah, sure.
Because we're always told and we're always fed, and then you get that cognitive bias of darts isn't as good in the past as it is now.
Yeah.
And that the players now are so much better.
Yeah, that's
so
that's a fair.
It sort of leads down the road. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set some rules, and this is the rules for this discussion, or in terms of how we've judged this. So rule number 1 is we've not just done this on who's won what, because I think if you do that, all you're going to do is compare who's won more titles, and that's what we're doing. We're not doing a top 10 list of who's won more championships. So what we're going to do is who's won titles, longevity.
Yeah.
So not just have they won titles in a short period of time, but have they done it over a long period of time? And for me, impact on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3 was really, really important in the decision process for me as well, and we'll talk about the players we've chosen and why.
So first of all, top 5 for me is this, and with that, I think the Sun pretty much got this right, but I think they got the wrong order. For me, this is the order: Taylor, Van Gerwen, Bristow, Anderson, Barneveld.
Yeah. My five exactly. I mean, there's been a discussion, obviously, should Barney be in, and I think that's where the impact comes into it. If you're around like I was, 90s into the mid 2000s, dart in Holland was absolutely bouncing. Good friends of mine, the Tony O'Shea's, would tell me that they were treated like a god. They couldn't walk down the streets in Amsterdam for dart fans, and a lot of that was the day that Barney won at Lakeside. It was incredible just watching him come, get off at the aeroplane, Schiphol Airport with the Lakeside trophy. It was something that we hadn't really seen in overseas darts, and look what happened to Dutch darts after that. Look what happened to European darts, and I think the catalyst for that was Raymond van Barneveld, and that's one of the reasons I have him in the top 5, to go with his skills and attributes that we know he's got anyway.
Not just the impact he had in Holland, but worldwide. How many players in darts can you think have played on pay-per-view TV?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, like you see, it's really got us thinking about things, and that's again one of the reasons why Barney's done that. And we've even been looking into the future of what Barney did for Dutch darts, what he did for European darts. If we could get someone fantastic from Asia, male player, Suzuki certainly achieved that in the female women's side of the game. If we could just get someone really big in Asia, we've seen the success as I sit here today at the Moda Super Series. The North American just seems to be just on the up right now, and also there's a little untapped market up in Scandinavia as well. So dart is booming right now, and like I said, I think Barney played a pivotal part to that.
I know that some of you will want to mix up that order. I've seen some lists that even suggest Van Gerwen goes as number 1, but for me, I don't think you can't win. I know we say we're not going to compare championships. That's not what this video is. But can you really ever have a 16-time world champion not at the top of your sport?
Well, we'll be talking to some people like James Wade, and James Wade said he's never seen anything like standing behind Phil Taylor at his best. So that's good enough for me. So. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the biggest Taylor fan as well. And did I tell you he rang me last night? I did.
You missed the call, though.
Yeah, I rang him straight back.
After you told everybody.
Yeah.
But James Wade, I mean, if you take a look at my shortlist right now, these are people that I would think would be up for discussion within this. And for me, James Wade's on there because when we talk about longevity, he's done this for so long now, and he's one of the richest dart players in terms of prize money won from the game. From darts prize money alone, nearly £4 million, which is one of the highest, and that comes down to the longevity.
Yeah, if you tell him, he always says he's doesn't have that 4 million in the bank, but I'm a big fan. I just, again, we're sat here now just a week after the Grand Slam, and it's just, there should be a word in the dictionary called weirdism. It was just unbelievable how he just stays in matches and then just give him a dart or a double. I mean, it was a staggering performance, and exactly like he was 20 years ago. And the thing down to me, if we're getting a little bit technical as well, is that throw's never changed. It's just a beautiful action, very simple, and Wadey's up for discussion in the top 10. Just didn't make mine. Maybe a number 11 for Wadey, but I'll go through my full 10 in a second.
Another one I'm going to move out of that top 10 list that the Sun did is Martin Adams. And yes, Martin Adams had a lot of success, but for me, he had that success whilst the best was elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the thing for Martin Adams. I think any stalwart, the BDO and WDF is, they maybe understood why he stayed there. He was the flagship, he was the flag bearer. But for him to be in that top 10, I think he would have had to demonstrate his qualities. And in the PDC, it would have been so interesting to see how good and how well he would have done. It's a case of we'll never know, but a real champion, a real legend, but again, doesn't make the top 10 for me.
Let's see if we agree then. Position 6 to 10, give me one name.
Adrian Lewis.
Oh, I'm in. I'm with you. When we look at, the impact of the game, what he did from a young age, back-to-back world championships, on top of it, I can't wait till he comes back. I think he's going to come back.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. And I think he's going to come back better.
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs regarding where he is and what's happening. I just hope he's healthy. I hope he's well. Every time I've seen him, he looks like he's lost a bit of timber as well. If he, the life of a dart player, it's not easy. Late night food, etc. It's long nights, etc. And it's not great for most people, but no excuses, because if you look at Gerwyn Price, you look at Luke Humphreys, they're two of the fittest dart players now, could be the two best players in the world right now. Take the hint there, young players.
Right, I'm going to give you a name, see if you go with me then. John Part.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't think you would go with John Part, I think. And I was going to talk about the interview, that infamous interview he did on Sky when he just won a game, and then there was these big murals at the Ali Pali, and John Part wasn't there. And he's very understated as John. And I think he'll create debate in relation to the younger players, like John Who type thing, isn't he, the commentator? But he's scared Phil Taylor. Taylor, he was one of them ones where he took a batterings off Taylor, but he kept working on his game. An incredible win at Lakeside, where from unknown straight to the PDC and challenging Taylor, and then was involved in one of the great finals of all time. So John Part's in for me.
Do you know what really stands out for me, and when I say impact of the game? Lakeside, Tavern, Ali Pali. The three big world championships, John Part's won them all.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's the final two. There's the cherry on the cake for me.
Even if you put him in at 10, I think for that reason he has to be. Who can ever say they've done that?
Yeah, no, John Part was in for me. I was surprised you put that one in. I just felt he doesn't get what he always deserved, and definitely in for me.
Peter Wright?
Yeah, he's in for me.
Yeah,
he's in for me. And like I say, maybe I'm swayed by the more modern dart player, because let's say Wright is in, but more of the discussion for me was like Jockey Wilson and John Lowe, and I'm going to brand them together because, look, darts is here because of players like Eric Bristow, those players that went from the BDO to the WDC. They were very brave in doing that, like real trailblazers. And when I watch the old footage, because now I'm an absolute geek of watching old matches. Now, when I played, I just played my own game, left, never thought anything of it. But the impact of the John Lowe's and Jockey Wilson, everybody knows who Jockey Wilson is. Yeah, and and what he did for Scottish darts. I mean, I'm sure he was a massive inspiration to the Peter Wrights and the Gary Andersons of this world. So you've got to have them in as a discussion. But going back to your point, Peter Wright and John Lowen and Jockey Wilson just misses out.
So here's my top 10 in the order as well that you'll see on the screen. I don't think there's any surprises there on the basis of the players that we have discussed, but I think we differ on 6 to 10. I think we're quite close, but here's Glen's 6 to 10.
Yeah, you might be surprised there to see that John Parter's at number 6. That's a big thing, just above A.D. Lewis. I was unsure about them. Dennis Priestley was an absolute must for me to be in. And again, that's chatting to people. I just loved speaking to the more older players and just gauging from them. And Dennis Priestley was a guy who would just sit and do his crosswords and then say, Dennis, you're on now. And he'd just look up with his cup of coffee, straight into his game and go and smash in 110 average. Again, very understated, never going to get the headlines, might be remembered more for the pace of him as a player, but the guy, along with Barney and John Parr, that really pushed Phil Taylor. So Dennis Priestley was in for me.
So that's mine and Glen's top 10. You know what to do. Get down to the comment section down below. Put your top 10 in there. We'll both go and have a little look. We'll see what you're thinking. See how close you are to what we think. And let us know on that top 5. Is it up for discussion? I think not. Don't forget to hit a like on your way down there. Subscribe if you're not done so already. And we'll catch you soon for some more Edgar TV.
Edgar TV.